Okay, so you got the general idea. A few of you hit 24 hours, a few of you are close. What we usually do is, for those of you that got close, I ask you to check to see how many, please stop by the way. Okay, we don't need to do it anymore. We just need to get you in that mindset. And so what we do is some people say, I got 22 hours. And I'll say, where did the other two go? And they can't. And you see, if I got you to do yesterday, some of you would get 24 hours. Some of you might have lost a couple hours. And the ones that got 24 yesterday, if I go back another day, some of them start to say, I'm losing a few hours here, I don't know what I did. They'd looked at their day timer, they'd scratched their brain for a couple minutes, can't figure out what I did. That was just the other day. And that's the mindset I wanted to be at, was I lost some time and I can't figure out what I did with it. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out how much we're worth per hour and figure this time versus money thing. That's what we're trying to do, okay? So how much would you say you're worth per hour when you're doing real estate? Now some of you are new, so I need you to think ahead. In the future, when you're doing, one deal a week or at least 2 a month, when you're on listing appointments, when you're negotiating offers, when you're prospecting, all this real estate stuff, how much are you worth per hour? Like if you do the math on $100,000 a year, working 40 hours a week, 100,000 divided by 40 weeks.
$190 an hour.
So $100 an hour or something. When you get to be a really good producer doing $250,000 a year, you're worth more than $100 an hour, isn't that right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so kind of get that feeling. When you had a job, if you got paid $30, $40, $50, $60, $70 an hour, you thought that was amazing. The least you would get in real estate is about $100 an hour, as long as you're doing real estate. And most of you'd be worth $300 to $800 an hour. What do you think of that? I mean, you're getting paid $800 an hour. Does it make sense to be wearing a nice suit while you're getting paid $800 an hour? Not the other way around. You wear a nice suit because you're making good money. But I mean, if you're worth that much, you should look like you're worth that much. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah, and most of you, all of you actually, got all dressed up for today because of graduation. That's awesome. And so how much are we worth? Let's say we're worth $300 an hour. So if $300 equals 1 hour, then if you couldn't find 2 hours in your day, then you're losing $600. So we do the reverse what we said earlier. It's where, okay, now you are actually losing money. You really want to find out how you could get that money back. So you don't want to waste any time. So here's the thing. I want you to understand that I believe you're worth $300 an hour, not just when you're working. And you have to get that mindset out of your head also. You would say, I'm only making $300 an hour when I'm on a listing appointment, negotiating an offer, doing showings, or something like that, yes? How would you feel about making $300 an hour while you're on vacation? Who wants to do that? How many of you would like to make $300 an hour where, let's say this week you did actually have the flu and you just couldn't get out of bed, but you're getting paid $300 an hour? Who would like that? Or you just decided you didn't want to work the rest of the day and you're still getting paid? The mindset has to be, now $300 an hour just in your business life, converting it into 300 into a whole 168 hours, you're not going to be worth $300 an hour while you're sleeping, while you're on holidays, but you might be worth $80 an hour all the time. Like $80 an hour times 168 hours in a week, you're over 100 grand a year. That's the mindset. You want your business to be making over $200 or $300 an hour all the time, no matter what you're doing. That's the mindset. Sounds good? Mm-hmm. But since it's your business and until you've built it, you still got to put in some time. It is a bit of a job. But we want to have the mindset to be able to have a business so that when we don't feel like working or don't want to, we are still getting paid. So for now, I think the best thing you could do is don't work more than 44 hours a week while you're building your business. Once your business is built, try to work less than 40 hours a week. So to work 44 hours a week, how many hours would we work per day? Maybe 5 8-hour days? Does that seem fair? And 1 half day? And this is where you actually book the other time off. Have somebody to cover for you so you can spend time with your family, because that's the most important thing, yes? You will actually make more money when you do that. All right? The next thing is, for family, maybe you have 45 hours a week to spread out in that week for your family. Now if you have a day and a half off, you may have 12 hours one day where you're totally with family all the time, and 4, 6, 8, 10 hours the day before, or 8 hours. And then every day, if you're raising a family especially, you don't want to see your kids every day, wouldn't you? Now, I know when they're teenagers, you don't want to see them anymore, but you know, no, just kidding. But they're a little more to handle when they're teenagers, I know that. I'm a grandfather now, but I have raised kids, and I'm just kidding because I was just thinking somebody might say, maybe I don't want to see, you know, when the kids are older and all that, and I'm like, well, you still kind of do. You want to have this family time. And about 45 hours a week works quite well. Which leaves us how many hours for our personal life? The answer's on the board, by the way.
79
Thank
hours.
you. And how many hours should you sleep a day minimum?
7.
Probably 7. And how many days in a week?
7.
So how many hours do you sleep a week?
49.
And 79 minus 49 is what?
30.
30. That's pretty easy to do for those of you who got stumped. So 30 hours a week just for yourself. Go ahead and take off shower and cleanup time, a little bit of rest time, the gym, and whatever. You don't have any time for yourself. So what if 79 hours a week and 45 hours a week with your family and personal is not enough? Where are you going to take more time from?
Business.
Business. In fact, someday I'd like to see you all working between 30 and 35 hours. Working only about 30 to 35 weeks a year as well. And if you do that, you'll probably make more money. You might surprise yourself. And I've seen guys that work 6 months a year that make $400,000. But if you don't believe you can, you'll be right. That's all I'm saying, right? So let's give you some tips on time management. Actually, what I think we'll do, is the food here yet? It is. So I think what we'll do is, for the tips on time management, we're going to do that right after the break, but we're going to have to do a fairly quick one. Can you stop the... We'll come back in a bit.